live, but we're recording. Hi, Rick.
Hey,
How you
Stevie.
doing, man?
I'm good. I'm here.
Yes, you are.
We're talking.
Yes, that's exactly what the point of this is.
All right. Well, it's going really well so far.
Yeah, we probably should have turned the mic on like 10 minutes ago. Huh?
All right. It's more natural. Now it feels just so awkward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even
trying
want to
so hard.
I think we accidentally just made eye contact. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I know. I know. I need to be in my booth.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have a booth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's all professional and stuff.
yeah, I've seen pictures. Yeah, that it looks nice.
Yeah. Did you see the one of my kitten?
I've seen all of your kitten ones.
Okay. Well, good.
But which are you talking about one specifically?
The one where he's looking into my booth. I'm in there, and he's got his paws up, and he's looking at me with the most pathetic, cute, sad face. And it's like I had to go out and just comfort him. I couldn't even work.
Is it a recent picture?
No, it was back in June.
Well,
You can find it later. It's just I'll show it to you.
all right.
But yeah,
Yeah, you are obsessed with this cat.
I waited a while after kind of being alone for a while, and I just figured, okay, now it's time for a companion, and it was, and it was my aunt's barn kitty that she had, and it's been perfect.
Barn kitty.
Yeah, well, I mean, the mother gave birth in a barn,
See,
so
that's
where they live.
I get that. Both of these felines you see walking around,
Yeah.
they're shed cats.
Well, there you go.
From under the shed.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about that is that he's got kind of no fear. I mean, pretty much he's very ballsy, which we thought he was a girl at first until a couple days in, and of course he was already 8 weeks old, but I guess at 8 weeks and 2 days his balls dropped or whatever. And I'm looking at this thing thinking, oh sure, oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought the same thing about my black cat, Frankie, and that's why I named him Frankie, because I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl.
Oh, okay.
But then I thought it was a girl. Like, I was like dead set, no, Frankie's a girl. I was like, hey, Frankie, and I got so used to saying she, her,
I know.
all this stuff. And then when the balls dropped, I'm like, oh, I couldn't not call him a her.
Right.
Or a she. And so I kept telling people, like, oh, that's Frankie, that's my cat, she's really good. What do you mean she? Well, she has balls. And I'm like, well, she recognizes herself as a female cat.
See, we've got to be sensitive to these things.
Right, of course. And then I just use that to be, quirky and goofy. But, like, I eventually managed to get used to it. And then we got Bill Murray, the cat.
Uh-huh.
And same thing. It was named Bill Murray because we were certain it was a boy. And it being a female.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I was glad when I got support from other people saying it is sometimes really hard to tell. Mm-hmm. So, but I had named her Mickey at first because I wanted it to be.
You can use that for both.
Well, the cat I had growing up his name was Michelob. When my parents were drinking, that made a lot of sense. So Michelob. So now he's a boy, so it's Michelob Barr the second. Some 34 years later.
Michelob Barr the second. Seth has some sort of weird name for Frankie.
Yeah.
Franklin. I can't even remember. Like, I can't. It's like a 10-part name. I don't even know. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been a cat person myself, ever. Like, I still don't like cats. Really? Except for these two. These two are cool. But like, I've grown up with dogs my entire life, and I've just never had an interest in cats. And when my dog that I had to put down over a year ago, he found Frankie in the shed or under the shed, and the rest of the kittens kind of scattered about. And all right, I'll take you in just for a few days, and then it was so cute. And then like him and Benny the dog would just bond together. And I was like, okay, all right, cats, fuck you. This cat is awesome though. And then the second cat came. Actually, the same exact way. Benny found her under the shed. We found the whole litter. We had to get rid of the whole litter, but we kept that one. And I don't know. They're great. Like, I went from a person who doesn't like cats to go, hey, mew mew.
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you start baby talking, you're into it.
Yeah, I'm into it. Yeah,
God.
Well,
crazy.
you know what? And now I'm trying to give Vince my dad. My dad's been the same way. I probably got that mentality from my father.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's now I'm like, Dad, just get a cat. It's a learning curve, but trust me, they're so sweet.
It's good to have something around, honestly, just to break up the monotony. But they become so, oh my God, you get so attached so quickly. Like he's in bed when I get up in the morning. And I've been telling people, I have never had a problem in my whole life getting up with the alarm. I never snooze. The alarm goes off, turn it off, I'm up. Now the alarm goes off, and Michelob is snuggling next to me. He's got his little paw over my arm, and I look over at him. Shit. So we just stick around for another 15 minutes. I'm never going to get anything done again.
Well, I get that to a point. Like they can't stop me from getting up. I'm not gonna just lay there and just like cuddle. But yeah, that's a dog will do that for me. Definitely.
See, I don't hate dogs, but I just don't like the work involved.
They are a definite responsibility. Like it's a whole thing.
My daughter had a big, like, sudden issue where they went on vacation, and all of a sudden the hotel in Florida said we're not pet friendly. So something happened there. I ended up taking care of her Boston Terrier for 10 days, and I had to make sure I was home every night and all that. And just wow, it ties you down just a little bit more than a cat.
Yeah, you know what else will do that?
Huh?
Pigs.
Well, you would know.
Pigs will do that too. Like I always have to make sure I'm home to feed this fat fuck.
Yeah.
Like
like he doesn't have enough on him to just resorb whatever he
got.
She, right.
She lives in her she shed in the backyard, fat and sassy, but now like she's actually like a community favorite around here from what I gather, because people will tell me all the time, oh, we hope you don't mind, we took some tomatoes and fed June in the back, and yeah, so like now I have people I can call like, hey, I won't be home, can you throw some tomatoes at her or something. So
is there any limit to how much you can feed a pig? I mean, does it matter how fat they get, or is it like...
Yeah, it for health reasons it does, because I didn't know any of this stuff when I just randomly got a pig.
Yeah.
And I was catfished thinking I was getting a potbelly pig, but ended up being almost a hog.
That's not a potbelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much does she weigh right now?
I'd say about 300, 250, 300. And she's like as high as my shin. So like she's like a brick.
Oh God.
But I didn't know how to ration food. I just like, I went and got feed, and I'm just like, here, eat a whole bunch of it.
Yeah.
Dude, she got big. Like, real big. Like, people would come over and go, hey, man, is your pig supposed to be that fat? I'm like, I don't know. Is she not? It's a pig. Pigs are fat, right?
I know.
And then I started doing research. I'm like, oh, God, 2 cups of food is what they're supposed to have a day. I'm feeding her like 6 cups.
Yeah, 2 doesn't sound like very much.
It doesn't, but... Well, with the feed, feed is high in fat and stuff like that, and they don't get their exercise. So now I'm figuring out ways to like take feed and I throw it out in the yard so she can like get exercise while rooting. And
she's got to get her steps in, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. She won't keep the Apple Watch on.
No, of course not.
Well, that was a fun conversation about cats and pigs.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
All right.
No, man, I wanted to bring you in because, number one, I really always enjoy our conversations. Number two, you're just a great guy. By the way, thank you for sending me that message.
Oh, well.
And you said something. You sent something, just saying, how much you appreciate what I do and respect that. So that meant a lot. And when I first read that, my first thought was, oh, he sent me a drunk text.
Oh, no, not at all.
Because it was so random. He sent me one. It was like 11:30 at night. I was like,
yeah.
Well,
one of the things about having so much time is just you do reflect and you think about stuff, and you're one of those people I became friends with in the very beginning. And you supported me, I supported you, and it's just, you've been a great friend.
Oh.
That's all it was.
Shucks. Yeah, well, I really appreciate it. It's always nice to hear that from people,
Yeah, I know.
Especially us artists, we sometimes need those encouragements.
Isn't it crazy? We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how much success we're having at the time, sometimes it doesn't feel like it.
Right.
For whatever reason.
I think I don't remember if we touched base on this in the last time that you were here, but that was one of the... things one of the situations I think you and I first actually connected on. It was we went to a show, but not together. But you just happened to be there.
Okay.
and like I was there in my chef outfit, and I was performing like a 15-minute set, and I'm like, oh, Rick, I know this face, and I went over and sat with you and your wife at the time, and and you're like, oh, well, thanks for sitting over here with me. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. People freak me out, and I know you. And then you and I, do you not remember this?
I think I do remember that.
It's a very vague blip in my memory, but like I just remember us sitting there and like relating, like, oh my God, you too? You know, like you have a hard time performing on stage
Yeah.
or like looking at people or interacting.
I know that we talked about that part of it early on and definitely connected. Maybe that was Oshecki's
No, it wasn't Oshecki's. It
Oshecki's?
was on High Street.
on High Street.
Yeah, it was a random deal.
Was it Porter's? Okay.
Yep.
Porter's that became Blue Pickle that is now whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it.
Boy, yeah, those were some of my early shows where they'd get like 8 or 10 of us in there, and we'd do like 20-minute sets, and we'd get paid literally. I mean, I keep this in my database, like getting paid $14.75 because it was whatever we'd share the door.
Yeah, that place. I never had a show of my own there,
Oh, me either.
but yeah, I don't even remember who was running
Mike. Oh, he used to run the. He owned Bossy Girls. Not Falker, but it's. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But it was Mike somebody.
Okay, yeah, I don't see it. That doesn't even ring a bell because
Yeah.
it was so long ago.
It was.
and I don't remember why I was there. I don't remember what if you were playing or if you were just there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
talking 8 years ago now. Probably.
Is it
7 or
only 8?
years. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Songwriter Showcase is coming up on 10.
God. Okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
holy crap. Yeah, I had a buddy of mine who also played in the Songwriter Showcase, Shane Flores.
Yeah.
He actually surprised me at my open mic on Sunday.
Oh,
And
okay.
came out, and we just were talking, and we're like, remember when we did this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that was like 8 years ago, man. We've known each other for almost 10 years. How freaking crazy
It's
is
getting
that?
ancient. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the topic of just like it's weird because I've always noticed, like I thought I was alone in the way I felt like on stage, you know, like feeling a little isolated and you know not coming across as like the super confident performer. And then I realized that it's actually pretty common for people to feel that way.
It is. So I just actually had a milestone a couple weeks ago. Like I said, I keep my database and everything. I'm a numbers freak. A couple Mondays ago when I hosted my Mike Night at Stad's, it was my 1,000th paid event. So like gigs, open mics, whatever. It was the 1,000th time that I've been paid to do something musically.
Wow.
I still hate the 10 or 15 minutes before a show. I just hate it. I'm
Yep.
so nervous. Even if it's a place where I've been before, I know the crowd, even if it's all my friends, I just hate it. The anxiety is just terrible. Until I get a few songs into it, then I get to see what the show's going to be like.
Yeah, you don't really know until you start it.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it's just, we've been through so many bad ones. It's like, we all know the feeling of playing to an empty bar and just not hearing any applause. But we also know, like, playing to a crowded bar or room and still not getting much applause. And that's a whole different kind of suck.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole. Yeah, you're absolutely right. First of all, congratulations on the 1,000. I have no clue where I'm at in that numbers. I've never
Yeah.
kept track. I don't. Facebook memories tells me when I did things.
Right.
You know, I'm not a numbers guy. So I appreciate people like you who do that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like, yeah, because I've seen you post a lot of different things. Like, oh well, you know, in 5 days will be my 3rd anniversary of this random show, and I'm like, how the freak does this guy know this stuff?
I know. I'm a little weird about it. I'll admit.
That's not a bad thing. It's a good quality. But when I, what was I gonna say? I've lost my brain.
Confidence.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, but having that confidence and like as you said, when you're starting a show and playing into a crowd, I do the same thing. It could be anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes before a show.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends on when I get done setting up.
Exactly.
You know, and
You're
when
busy setting up, you're fine.
right, and so when I'm set up and I'm just like standing around, I'll still get, to this day, sweaty palms. Just try to read the crowd, but I still suck at talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
So like even just going out and talking to the crowd, to the audience, is like something I just don't do before a show because
Right.
I suck at talking, which is odd that I run podcasts, but I'm in a comfortable space here.
Exactly.
But yeah, I get that. I feel that in my soul. It still happens every time, and I think that's a positive thing for people like you and me. I think it's a positive thing to not be so overly confident.
I do like to think that it maybe keeps our egos in check if we were to have one.
Right.
It took me a while to, and it was partly just playing out for a while, open mics, and then starting to play shows. But it was also seeing other people play and apologizing for their music and all that stuff. There's got to be a point where it's okay for you to acknowledge that you're good. You can say that without sounding like an asshole. It is actually possible to do that. So, yeah, like, I play really good rhythm guitar. I've got a really unique voice. Other than that, I'm just like anybody else. And everybody else has certain qualities that others don't.
Yeah.
So they're not, and they don't even work at all venues or at all types of shows.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. Like there's sometimes I will get, I don't know if it's cocky, but I'll see a place. I'm like, oh, I got this pegged. I know what set I'm
Yes.
gonna do.
Oh, exactly.
And then like you sit there and they look at you like you have 7 heads. Like
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, I read the room wrong here. And then there's other places you're like, oh boy, you listen to the music they're playing on the jukebox. You're like, okay, this doesn't match my set.
Right.
Here we go. And then you start, and they're like so supportive.
Yeah.
It's still hard to read a crowd,
I think that's always the surprising thing. When you go into something where you don't have much confidence and you think you're just not going to fit. But you and I mean, a lot of people do, but we have really eclectic set lists. So, I mean, we can kind of run from any genre and decade. We're going to find something that someone connects to.
Right. That's a double-edged sword also, because you might find that whole crowd that likes that one little bit you do. We'll play more Seeger. I'm like, listen, man, I only do 2 Seeger songs.
Right. Oh yeah.
And then they look at you like, you only play 2 Seeger songs.
What the hell's wrong with you?
What the hell's wrong with you?
Jerk.
Or let's vent about that for a minute. How about there's audience members that just come out and they're like, hey, do you know this song by, I don't know, Eddie Van Halen?
Okay.
And you're like, no, I obviously don't play Eddie Van Halen up here.
Yeah.
And then they walk back by, hey, any Eddie Van Halen yet?
Oh, jeez. Then they're just starting to be assy because they can.
Yeah, but I think a part of them believes you're just going to go, you know what? I think I do.
Let me check my back pocket here.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that can be frustrating. Well, if someone drops something in my tip bucket and then they ask for something that I don't have, or they leave a note, that happened Friday. And who was it they asked for? It was some 70s easy listening kind of thing. And I just didn't know anything by him. But the guy walked away and he was out of earshot. So I mean, he gave me something in appreciation. I always feel bad when I can't give back in those cases.
Yeah, that is an awkward situation when somebody comes up and there's some cash in your jaw and they're like, let me hear some so-and-so. And you're like, shoot, I don't know that. But then our sets do, we could be like, but I do play this.
Well, right. I mean, if they're actually there talking to me, I'm going to make damn sure I'll say, hey, who else do you like? I mean, or take my request book, whatever, find something.
You want to hear one of the most awkward versions of that?
Okay.
Like something similar, not exactly to that. It was one of my first shows after the world shut down last year.
Yeah.
And I had to, oh, was that my phone? Let me turn that down.
Yeah, that was rude.
I was,
man.
I know, I can't help it. And it was at a campground.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. We were all outside, and we're still a little iffy about what is COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
We even saw a drone fly by, and we're like, "Uh-oh, what's this? Are they spying on us?" But I did my set, and then the last half hour of my set, they came back. Everyone pitched in $100 to play another hour.
There you go.
And I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do this, And I was kind of playing a reserve set anyway because everyone's just kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So I still had like all the bangers, in the back pocket. About 15 minutes in, the campground said no music past 11.
Oh.
So like they paid me, everyone riled around to pay me $100 to play an extra hour, and I took it. It's in my tip jar.
Yeah, you're not taking that back.
Yeah, and like
Don't reach in there.
oh, I did offer it back.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was like, do you guys want that back? Because and I feel bad. They're like, no, no one could have seen it coming. They were very nice. They even booked me for another private event later.
Oh, okay, cool.
And yeah, they were really cordial about it. But it was like that same awkward, like, I couldn't provide you what you paid for.
Yeah.
And that was a very tough one. Mm-hmm. But so you and I also do very similar things in the sense of we wear many different hats.
Yes.
I happen to be wearing a Terry Douglas hat at the moment, but that has
You
nothing
do.
to do with the conversation.
Actually, I was going to bring this up. I still have the hat you made for me from, I think it was my 4-year anniversary at the Dolphin Lounge. It's like a king princess something or other. You made it really silly. It's really colorful.
Wow.
It's like, and it's in the top of my closet, and it's going to be on my head next year for my 10-year anniversary.
What?
So there you go.
I barely remember this.
I'm sure it was. Just,
I think Tom Stillwild bought the hat. Yeah. Okay. It's all coming back to me now.
I think it's like Princess King or something.
Yeah.
You just
something like this.
And I wore it for a little bit during the night during my performance, and I've kept it.
Yeah, because it's still Tom Stillwild bought the hat, and I said, he's like, hey, Steve, I want to give this hat, but it's kind of boring. And I said, just give it to me. And I went over to CVS across the street, bought some like random craft items, and I don't even remember honestly, I don't even remember what I did. I remember King, Princess, something.
I'll have to send you a picture.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I completely forgot about that.
So, men of many hats. Continue.
Well, I wanted to kind of dive into your Barr 26 entertainment stuff.
Yeah.
Because you were intuitive enough to like put all this under one category, all these different adventures under one category.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm trying to pull together now. That's a whole nother story. But I just kind of want to run down through some of these things, and let's talk about where it's at, where you want to go, and just see where the conversation goes from there. But
okay,
I do want to start out with thank you for voiceovering my commercial that I made for the company.
That was so cool. I love posting that stuff because like the family and friends, they listen to it, and I've had so many people ask me like what that is, and so it does generate awareness. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. Although I did have a couple people say, You're getting into home improvement? Are you actually doing that? And I'm just laughing, thinking, oh my God, that's the last thing I need to be doing to people. I would be so inept and just terrible. I would break your house.
Well, that was me a year ago.
Yeah.
But now I'm breaking concrete instead.
Okay.
No,
but yeah, it turned out really well, and
it was pretty decent. You and Jeff Schaefer were the home run hitters on that one for sure. Like. Yeah. Just because you guys did such a great job. I had a slightly different vision of I didn't want just a placement of pictures on it. I actually wanted to shoot some video, and we actually had it set up when we were going to do this, but like then work got in the way, and like we're like, well, how about next week? When we're going through schedule, well, let's shoot it next week. And I'm like, I said, I'll keep the unrendered edit so we can add it in later, but let's just get this thing out.
Right.
Like as is, and I put a little rough copy and put it together. So
that was great.
Yeah, it does its job. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for doing that, man.
I'm glad you asked.
Well, of course, you were like the first one I thought of, because I know a couple voiceover guys, but like for this specifically, it was, I wanted a gruff voice, and I'm just known for that. You've got a very sexy voice.
It's all that smoking. 4 packs a day since I was 12.
Just like my daddy Tom.
That's right.
And then Jeff Schaefer just did that jingle so good.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Busted it out like one night. He's like, oh, I just got home. I'll send you something tomorrow morning.
Really?
Like 3 hours later, he sends it to me. I'm like, what the?
Nice.
How do you do this? So, and then now, you just did a voiceover for a movie commercial or something like this?
I have a contact in Turkey, I used to do some news reports. Some people might remember that from a few years ago, where I would have these shifts during the day, like a 4-hour shift, where they would send me news articles to read, and the outfit was based in Turkey, but it was like worldwide news about everything going on. And the owner of the company kind of left that, but he kept me in touch, and he sends me a voiceover job once every couple months. And so I do a lot of stuff for hotels and vacations and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. Internationally, like in Europe especially, they love the deep American voice. They can't get it where they are. So I'm like his go-to when he needs that kind of thing. And this latest voiceover is for a video game. I'm not even sure exactly how it's supposed to work, but man, the trailer they put together, that's one of the coolest things I've had happen in the 4 years I've been doing this. It just looks so sharp, and yeah, I mean they integrated the voice very well with everything, and man, see, my two of my big goals are to do like a big time movie trailer and a video game, like an actual video game character.
It's got to be Batman. You have to do Batman.
You have said that.
Yes,
I agree. I'm looking at Batman right there on your poster.
Oh yeah, I can see that face and hear that when you hear your voice. Yeah, it's definitely on my bucket list to have you do a Batman.
Yeah.
But are you still pretty active in your audiobooks?
Well, it was a slow year. I had a couple of.
That's surprising.
Well, it just I had two authors that I was getting regular work from, and when the pandemic hit, it hit everybody. I mean, this has been a worldwide thing that nobody has been immune from. So one in particular, who my pseudonym does the hot stuff for.
Sexy books, yeah,
sexy books. She just couldn't afford it, and it didn't help that I had joined the union. I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA, and I had joined that in March, probably right around the same time the shutdown happened, and I had to raise my rates just to be compliant with the bare minimums. So she's been out, I mean, for a year and a half almost now, and she wants to. And the thing is, I was doing these books, and I had such a great following. Her readers, she's one of those that knows how to promote. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's got a following, and they were loving the voice, but she just can't justify the cost anymore.
Yeah,
it's not that good. So I did just finish one that I have to do some edits on. I just got the edits this afternoon, actually, that I need to do. New author. It's going to be kind of fun. It's a Rick Barr book. It's not a nasty thing. So, and then I'm still doing stuff. Michelle Dalton is the one that I've been really working with most in the last couple of years. So we've been working together on her Out of Africa series. Probably going to start working on book 8, I believe, soon, and just some other side stuff.
You say that the pandemic slowed everything down, which makes sense, but I just feel like audiobook would be something that would pick up for that. Maybe like the books they already have probably went up in sales, but like I just imagine like. You have writers kind of forced to stay home, but where's the inspiration? So like, I don't know.
Okay. So I'll put an asterisk on that and just say that because of what I was going through last year, like, I mean, the shutdown certainly musically and everything kind of was weird, but I was going through the divorce as well. Right. And there was a really bad spring and summer. So I probably didn't attack as much as I could have.
Gotcha. All
right. That's basically it.
That makes sense.
But, coming out of that, I'm looking forward to...
Who the hell mows their lawn at 8 at night? Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but...
No, you know what?
My neighbors are mowing their lawn right now. They use a fucking riding lawnmower.
Even though I have my booth, it's not soundproof. There's nothing you can really get commercially that's completely soundproof. Yeah, right. I mean, you have to go like $50,000 level, like bunker. So if my next door neighbor is mowing the lawn, the lows, they permeate through the ground. Just like the train tracks a mile away do.
Oh, wow.
And the planes, the Southwest. I live right next to the airport. So there are just a few moments where I have to back off. So this guy mowing his lawn, he's an asshole right now because I have to step out of my booth for half hour or whatever.
Well, it's Studio 47 Presents. You can also hear my fan in the background. You can hear my cats
that's true. I'm not worried about it here.
I'm not worried about it here in this shack.
Yeah, yeah.
But you were saying, I'm sorry. You were before I interrupted about mowing the grass.
Well, just yeah, I've been working with Michelle Dalton, so we have brand new stuff that we're doing, and it's taken a while to talk through it and figure out exactly what we're doing. But she is, along with being a very talented author, she does book covers, she does editing, she does websites. In fact, she's the one that kind of really started Bar 26 Entertainment last year, which is just bar26.com. So if you go there, BARR26, she pretty much designed that for me. Even though, I've been a web developer for 20 years, but I just didn't have time. So she helped me with that. And so now this year, we've really gone crazy. And we registered a new LLC, Bar 26 Publishing LLC, because we are actually publishing authors' works. And between the two of us, we have the skill sets to be able to pull it off, basically. And we started off with doing our own books. We're doing some activity books.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, is this where the activity books were coming into play?
Yeah. So we have our Brain Benders series, and the first book was The Flying 40s. And it's just got, it's like crosswords and word searches, but the artwork and the clues and stuff, they're centered around the 40s. So it's a theme kind of a thing.
Do you do the artwork for this? Or?
This was after the art kind of started coming around for me, which is a whole different topic, pretty much. But I did do about a dozen coloring pages for it. And it was a new thing. I had to go out and buy markers, figure out, what medium I needed to work in. So yeah, I did do about 10 to 12 of those, but the rest were just puzzles. And then the second book we have is for number nerds, and it's Sudoku and all kinds of just number-based puzzles.
Right up your alley, right?
Oh, man. Yeah. Gets me kind of excited talking about it.
I see this.
Yeah. I'm all flushed. So it's this new venture, and I'm still right now putting together the outlines for the database I need to build for the website where we can keep track of all this stuff, the expenses, the income. But we actually have an anthology series. It's not really a series, an anthology volume of stories that we're going to be doing. It's going to be released in October. We're going to be doing a Facebook event for it in October. And it's basically where we're going to have about a dozen authors contribute their stories. And it's going to be based around the holidays and adoption. And there's kind of a theme to it. And we're going to be donating all of the proceeds to a charity for the first year. And we already have a couple New York Times best-selling authors
Really?
on board. Yeah, well, Michelle has the contacts.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
It's like she can rely on me for certain things, and I can rely on her, and she has this stuff down. And it's pretty exciting.
That's good, man. That's I'm proud of you.
Aw.
I love when I listen to when you know somebody for one thing and you listen to all the different adventures that they do. Mm-hmm. That's the layers of a person is something that I really admire.
I'll tell you what. I learned early on. So I did my first open mic as an adult in 2012. Didn't care what happened after that. I mean, my best friend was pressuring me to just go out and do that. And I thought, okay, fine, I'll do that. I don't care if I never do another one again. But the support I got from Tom Stillwild and Paisha Thomas, and, it became what it is, obviously. And just throughout the years, I have learned to never turn down an opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's obviously a time suck or something just that's completely not going to work. If you just have doubts about it, but it sounds like it's something you would enjoy doing, try it.
Yeah.
That got me into so many opportunities musically. And then with the voiceover stuff, again, the same friend, John, who lives in New York, he was pressuring me I was just bitching and moaning about being miserable. I was doing music essentially full time, like 2016, 17, doing close to 200 events in a year. and I was working full time and running an open mic that kept me up till 1, and I was getting up at 5 a.m. to work out and work, and I was just
You're a better man than me. I'd say I am not working out today, sir.
I could never do that. So I was just running myself ragged, and he kicked my ass, and he actually built me like a quickie voiceover site. And he had a contact that hired me for my first voiceover job, which I won't say who it is because I never want anybody listening to that again. It's horrible. But it basically, I had already been thinking about ways that I could get out of the situation I was in. And he kind of gave me an out. And I had to crunch numbers big time and, talk to my ex about it. And she gave me the green light to quit my job, of all things, to do music and voiceovers. So, I'm a fledgling voiceover artist, actor, and I'm doing the music. And that was one thing. But now it just keeps evolving. And you've got to let things evolve.
Yeah.
If you can, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, there's a certain point, like, you can't control these things,
No.
But like if you find your niche and that's the one thing you're good at, then stick with it, but when that stuff like that can get boring to people who are creatives.
Yeah.
And so you want the next adventure, but you don't want to abandon the old adventure.
Exactly.
So you try to merge the adventures, some shoestring, way to put them together.
Yeah.
And that in itself becomes an adventure trying to organize that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you've done a really good job from what I can see as an observer. Like, I don't know what's going on in your head, but like you seem to have started organizing all these things into, as I said, you have this umbrella company, name, and that's a very good start to do that. Like, I wish I would have started the Studio 47 before I started the Film Trigger adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would have put it all under the Studio 47 umbrella, but that didn't come until after. And but yeah, so now you obviously do the music, you have the voiceover, the audiobooks, you're doing the what you did, your brain activity books.
Yeah, which is essentially the publishing umbrella. I mean, that's almost a separate umbrella. It's part of entertainment, but now we're going to have a different website
Subsidiary,
for that.
yeah.
Yeah, and Michelle and I have we've had a lot of chats about that, about what are we doing here and what do we need to do?
Yeah.
What makes sense? But we're getting there.
Well, I'm sure you will. I mean, if worst comes to worst, there's nothing you can merge things together.
Yeah.
And absorb it in, because that's which I think is what you're having a little bit of trouble with now, isn't it? Like merging.
Oh yeah,
things.
Yeah, and trying to make things fair for both parties.
Right.
And even, I mean, we're talking things like taxes and write-offs and stuff like that, where we have our separate things. Like she writes, I narrate. But then we're kind of coming together with that in a way.
Right.
Because actually this anthology that I mentioned, one of the authors wants to have her story narrated. So I'm going to do that. So that's a joint project. That's under publishing. And it's good promotion for me. We'll see where that goes. But it's like one more piece that I wasn't expecting. And it's like every day there's something I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
So you just... I don't know. You take it.
Then on top of that, you now offer portraits.
Oh, Lord. What a shock. So most people don't know that music was never going to be a serious thing for me. My mom is a portrait artist. She works in charcoal and pastels. And
I love charcoal. It's such a great medium.
oh, she's done some terrific work. And she's been in galleries. She was in Mac Worthington's gallery a couple times. Some people might know that. I'm trying to name drop a little bit. And she's had some shows. Oh yeah, there you go. There's my eyeball. So I had done portraits for a long time. I actually went to Fort Hayes and was in the commercial art program my junior and senior year. Half my days were spent doing artwork. And then I graduated and went to the School of Advertising Art in Kettering, which is like a suburb of Dayton. Went there for a few months until my girlfriend got pregnant and we got married and blah, 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 blah. You know, the kids ruined everything. And I can say that because I raised them to be sarcastic like I am. So
If I had a nickel, it'd
they're
probably go to
cool.
them for child support anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I basically, I did a handful of portraits. I was kind of busy in the 2000s. I did like one of my parents' cat, which was really good. And it just, but then I stopped and I hadn't done anything for about 10 years. So in January, we're in 2021, and I had done a portrait of the kids back in 2001 when they were 7 and 6. So I thought, you know what? I'll do an anniversary portrait. So I had them get together for a picture in the same pose. And I did that portrait, and it was a surprise. Nobody knew about it, and it was like, oh, yay, okay. You know, Richie draws again.
Richie?
That was my childhood.
Oh,
name.
it's going to be more than that now. I'm going to write that name down.
Don't write that down, you little shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. We don't want any recorded evidence of that name existing out there.
Well, I'm glad we're just chit-chatting without any recording equipment around us. No, so I did that and got a lot of positive stuff about it, and it just so happened that Diana and Pete Hooverman at Three Oaks Vineyard were going to be producing a new wine, and they asked me if I'd be interested in doing a drawing for the label. So I said, oh, okay, sure. So we had a picture of their bridge. It's a beautiful setting, and for the first time in my life, I drew a landscape, which I'd never done, and got paid for it. And after 30 plus years of drawing and thinking that I wanted to be an artist when I, quote, grew up, I made a little bit of money for drawing.
Did you frame the dollar?
No, it was a check. I had to put it in the bank.
You don't want to frame the check.
No. I need to live, So, but then Michelle Dalton, actually, had a contact. She was working on an Australian author's book about dogs and the dogs she had rescued, and it was kind of a fictional story about the dogs getting into adventures, but she needed a book cover, so we worked on that. I did the cover, and it's called The Long Dogs. It's by Louisa Crook. So that was another piece, and that's gotten more attention than anything because people just love animals.
Yeah, I don't think I knew about that. I don't think I remember seeing that. Is it in your
It's in, what are you on there?
I'm on your personal page. Would it be in your entertainment?
Try entertainment. I don't know if I have like a photo gallery maybe or an album. I do. Timeline photos, yes.
Okay, I have seen this.
Yeah.
If this is it. Okay.
And people are going nuts about that. And I'm thinking, Jesus, I never even drew dogs before. But it's okay. I just think it's okay. But, I think pet animals just have a special place in people's hearts.
Yeah.
So I did that, but the other thing that's going to be coming out soon is a book of illustrations along with poems with Gwen Corbett, and she's a singer. She's come out to a couple open mics and she sings, and I've worked with her a little bit before, but we ended up in a project where during COVID she had written a bunch of poems, and they're kind of based around nature and just good feelings, like trying to find the good from the bad. Really inspiring stuff. And we basically worked on 21 illustrations for each of her poems, and this is going to be published within the next couple of months.
Oh wow.
And I can't wait. This is going to be a big one.
Dude, I'm so excited, man.
And this is going to be different because it's a mix of colored pencil and marker. So I actually went out and bought a complete set of like professional markers.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw
that was just for this project. Yeah. And so I'm doing like mixed media for the first time, and I'm doing a lot of pointillism, which I used to love in high school.
Explain to me what that is.
Pointillism is just creating shapes or textures out of dots.
Okay,
so
that's what I thought you meant. I wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was, each one of them has that, and it has like a central object that radiates essence into something else with a bigger meaning. And it was so fun to work with her.
All right, so let me see if I got this, if I understood this right. So she's coming out with this book of poems, and you're writing, or you're creating illustrations for these.
Yes.
Is there going to be music attached to that?
No.
Okay, see
No.
that you said she was a musician, so
Oh, okay.
I automatically put that together, but I wasn't sure if that was actually part
No,
of it.
she loves to sing and she's very good at it. But this is a whole separate thing. It's just it'll just be a book.
Okay, and that's going to be under your publishing.
No, actually, she had boy, she got with a publisher about a month before Michelle and I really got this together.
Gotcha. So you're just doing the
Just doing the
illustrations.
artwork. So yeah,
Okay.
she has all that set, and the publishers are working on it, but it's imminent. So and it's exciting. It's crazy how life turns around, and it's just like, okay, so I did an anniversary portrait of my kids. I drew for the first time in 10 years.
I was about to ask you, did you stop drawing for a while?
Well, yeah. I mean, the last portrait I had done was back in 2010, maybe, and life got a little busy, and especially when I started playing the music. When I started playing open mics in July 2012, I had actually just started working back in the office that May. I had been working from home for 8 years, so between having the commute and working a full-time job all of a sudden, and then starting the music, my artwork went back seat.
Yeah,
I didn't do anything.
I'm kind of there myself. Like I mean, you can see the pictures I do on the wall here, and
Yeah.
these random ones. That call this my Jailhouse Blues series because I did them when I was not around people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that.
yeah, I did it with a pen, and just yeah. But
great.
anyway, but like I love drawing, I really do. But I past couple of years, I think the last one I did was actually that chick up there,
Yeah.
which is actually from the book Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain.
Oh,
It's actually one of the pictures in there. That's what I do. I see things and I can mimic them.
Okay.
I can copy them. I don't trace them or anything, but I can sit there and just look at them and recreate them.
yeah.
And very rarely can I come up with my own thing.
I'm like that too. As
Yeah.
creative as we are, you would think we'd be able to just like create things out of thin air, but I have so much trouble with that. I have to have a source photo.
Right, exactly. A source photo. There's sometimes I can, and sometimes I can take a source photo and turn it into its own unique situation. I mean, just like the bird. I mean, this bird here was on a stamp,
Okay.
and I just drew the bird off the stamp and just created this whole atmosphere behind it.
Oh, that's great.
But like I don't have the itch to do it,
Well,
and I keep looking at it like, man, I don't want to like pick up a pencil one day and be like, oh, nope, can't draw anything. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like my hand's gonna get loosey goosey.
yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't know, like maybe it's because I'm busy, and it's just like
Oh, yeah.
on the back burner. But like making money off of it would definitely put a fire under my ass to do that.
Exactly.
That would be actually. I think the last one I did. Let's see here. I think this would be. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I won't spend too much time on this. Reese Jordan.
I think he came to see me at a show. If that's the one I'm thinking of.
Here, this is Reese right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing Brewdog in Canal.
Yeah, have you seen him play?
No, not live.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh.
He's so good.
I remember he asked if he could like play a break, but it was a 2-hour show and I wasn't playing a break. You're taking a break.
Yeah,
so.
dude. He's such a wonderful performer.
Yeah.
He actually, I've had him on the podcast. Really great story, and he actually has a really cool story. I think it was the only podcast I've done that I've released that went 4 hours.
Oh my
No
God.
breaks, no nothing. We just sat here and just talked, and everything about his life, all these, wonderful and terrible things he's been through, but like how he overcomes all these, major hills. And then somehow we went on to quantum physics, and then we were watching videos of his dad doing Louis Armstrong impressions on the Oprah Winfrey show. Yeah, like
Holy shit.
it was just a fun conversation. I don't know if I can find a picture, but there was I know where I can find it on my page. because Reese is also an artist, and he was doing photos or drawing pictures of people's profile pictures.
Oh, okay.
You know, and just like posting them randomly, saying, "Oh, yeah, well, I did yours," and because he did that, I decided to surprise him. Oh, I didn't add it to this. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, there it is. I decided to do one of him.
Oh, nice.
You know, and add it. You know, yeah. And I was like, well, now you've been tagged, buddy. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the last picture I did.
Wow.
That was 2019. So, yeah.
Very cool.
But it's something I would love to get back into, and I love that you were like, I admire that you're not only bringing these things back into your life, these other mediums back into your life, but you're actually making them work for you, you know, financially.
It's crazy. It's still blowing my mind. It's like the world turned upside down to have my initial passion in life that I'd given up on. I mean, I gave up on it when I dropped out of college in 1993.
Yeah.
So, damn, this could go anywhere. So I'm trying to kind of focus on what I should be, I don't know, well, focusing on. I mean, boy, that came out really well.
Welcome to the company of redundancy company.
Yeah.
What's for lunch? Twice baked potatoes.
There you go. No, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do because I really, when I got the portrait done of the kids, it's nice. It's a portrait. It looks like them, whatever. But I started looking into hyper-realism, which is...
That's that eyeball picture.
Well, that was my attempt at it. Yeah. It falls a little short. And I got all kinds of materials that I could use for it. But, man, that is just tough. It's like... It's when you're looking at something that was created through colored pencil or paint, and it looks like a photo. I mean, really looks like a photo.
Yeah.
And it's going to take me a long time to get there. So I'm kind of trying to, I did a lot of research into that, but I'm trying to scale back a little bit because I haven't done very much. I've done 5 pieces of artwork this year. So I need to create a bigger portfolio. So I'm kind of scaling back. I want to do actually more animals and landscapes and things.
Animals can be tough.
They can be tough, but not as tough as humans.
Teeth. I have a hard time with teeth.
Yeah.
Drawing teeth, and actually, like, I can draw a hand pretty well, unless it's attached to a body.
Oh.
That's when I have trouble. Like, prime example here, and this isn't a gotcha moment, but...
yeah, right.
I mean, not intentionally.
I know what goes there.
Right, so I drew my own hand, you know, which is fine. But like, if I was attached to a body and that hand had to be much smaller, it's going to look wonky. The fingers are going to be off. I cannot figure it out. You know.
Okay.
But hyperrealism is, am I saying that right? Hyperrealism, is that what it's called? Okay. That's something that's always piqued my interest because I love detail.
Yeah.
This one here of Mila Kunis, or not Kunis, Mila Jovovich. She's the actress that played in The Fifth Element.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and so I use a like a .05 millimeter mechanical
pencil. Yeah. See, I never would have thought of that either, but now I've got a couple of them.
Yeah, and that's what I always use because I can get the lines very detailed in doing so, and then I just use like a little smudging pencil to blend in.
Like the smudge sticks?
Well, I make my own, but yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I literally just take a piece of paper and roll it up and tape it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I used to do that with like just paper towels and do that, but
yeah.
But I got this pack of smudge sticks, like different sizes, and they're pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that's why I like about making my own because I can roll it into like a funnel. And then I can kind of cut my own size. I can have one large on this side and cut it smaller on the other side. Yeah. I told you, man, I run on the heels of my feet with this stuff.
Well, it's less expensive, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like,
I have invested so much into my materials now, and they're sitting there just at my desk and just saying, "Hey, what are you going to do with me?
Yeah.
Come on."
I always blame not having like cash flow for my projects of why I don't invest into them. Even with Film Trigger and Studio 47, which I have had an investment in, like these laptops that are now starting to pile up. But like actually getting like an actual, recording interface and all this stuff. Like I was like, well, I have a recorder, a voice recorder on the laptop. I'll just make that work, and that's how I do things, like
Yeah.
that light up there, that is such a Frankenstein piece of thing that I just put together. I could have easily probably bought something to make that look just as good,
Oh yeah.
but the light came from my brother. He stole it from the West Palm Beach airport, and he passed away in '96, and it was one of the things I got in his box, and so like, yeah. So one day I just took random pieces of wood that seemed like they fit around it. And I took a light and shoved it in the back, put some foam in there, and just put some L brackets and just put it in the wall.
See, there you go.
It's ridiculous, but it's also fun. I love crafting things that way, and I almost like the steampunk feel of it. Mm-hmm. It's there's something to be said about doing things in that way. Yeah, it probably takes a lot longer. I could probably go to and order this from Amazon, but I don't know. I'd rather I can make that.
Yeah,
We can make that.
definitely.
Terry Douglas and I tried to go down an adventure together
Yeah.
years ago, and I called it Rain Dance. It was It was going to be Rain Dance was the name of it, and we were going to make drum boxes.
Oh yeah.
Back when they were first like blowing up, and coming out, you could start seeing them everywhere. I'll tell you what, man, we had no clue what we were doing. We made it through. We spent like 8 hours, made half of one, and we're like, nope, we're done. And then I ended up making the leather bracelets, and that kind of fell into that. But
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm segueing.
Well, you're allowed. It's your show.
Well, I get in these rants, and then when I start ranting, I kind of forget that we're supposed to have a topic. But oh well, either subscribe because of it or don't subscribe because of it.
Yeah, it's your choice.
Yeah. But we're here to talk about you.
Oh, God.
So I'm going. Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
That's what I thought.
Might have another beer.
Oh, you want another? Yeah, sure.
You picked out a good one, the Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA. It's strong and robust.
And then you have what I drink, the Bud Light Platinum. It's got alcohol in it.
What's the percentage on that? Is it
6.
like a? Well, that's pretty good for Bud.
Yours is 9.
I know. Whatever, man.
Oh, I can tell. Yeah, that 9's kicking in, huh?
It's not 9.
Yeah, it is.
It's like 8.
No, it's 9.
Oh, I can't even read it.
It says it right here.
Yeah, I thought it was 8.1. Well, how about that?
Yep.
You're right. Well, like I said, it's a good choice. I told you IPA, and you managed to pick the kick-assiest one. So.
Kick-assiest, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a beer connoisseur.
Oh, you know what? That's my problem. I'll find different IPAs around bars, and I'll bring stuff home. I might like them, but I won't remember what they are.
Yeah,
This is one of the only ones that I actually connect with.
yeah. I think the only one that I really connected with was Rheingeist,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
that's because they made a flyer with my name on it, like
They did?
for an event. And I had
Oh,
a
really?
Rheingeist poster, music by Stevie K. And, I still have it somewhere laying around.
Nice.
One of the many things people will find when I pass away. But yeah, the only reason why I connected with them because I just thought of a streamlined promoting opportunity. Well, they're fairly local. Maybe I can do some deals with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I don't know. Like all beer tastes like shit until about the third one. That's just how I roll.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't enjoy them. Like you'll see me. I'll go do a shot somewhere, and every shot is disgusting. Every beer first swig is like, I just don't like it.
Wow.
But I said until about the third one.
Right. I don't know. I've been more of a whiskey guy for the last several years.
Yeah, are you? I know last time we talked, you were kind of coming off that train a
Oh,
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. You got
Well-
that a little bit more under control now, or
Maybe not.
maybe not. Still,
I'll tell you what, the Wild Turkey 101
yeah.
and the, oh, shoot. What's my brand? The 151. Oh, it's really good.
The 151.
Don Q. Don Q 151. It's essentially more potent than moonshine. Moonshine is a little bit less as far as, percentage. But it's got its own little strange kick. But the 151, Jesus, I love it.
See, yeah,
It's so quick.
I used to be a whiskey drinker.
Well, 151 is rum.
Okay, yeah. But whiskey was. I did get away from that.
Did you?
Yeah, it turned me into an asshole, and not like to other people, but to myself. Like if I stubbed my toe on the table, I would probably just break the fucking table. Like,
Oh, wow.
"Fuck, you stupid
Okay.
fucking table. What are you doing in
Huh.
my way? But yeah,
Well,
I had to back away from that.
I get that. And I've always been a friendly, happy drunk. The whiskey doesn't make me angry, but it does different things to me. Definitely a loss of control.
Yeah,
But
it's
boy,
weird.
it's been a weird couple of years, and I'm just kind of, I just keep adapting to things.
This seems appropriate.
All right. And if
Well, I'll
I'm
tell you
home
what.
alone,
Sorry.
no, if I'm home alone, I'm not hurting anybody, so I'll hurt myself, I guess.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'm not an asshole to people when I'm drunk. At least not that I remember.
Yeah.
But gin. Gin is a nice, clean liquor for me.
I've never really tried much of it.
Sapphire is a really good one.
Okay.
In the way I picture it, like the three that I would drink, whiskey not being one of them anymore, but I'll put it in this comparison: whiskey, gin, and like a higher end tequila.
Ooh.
Whiskey just makes me feel like a madman.
Huh.
Like I just lost in my head,
Ooh.
thinking dark thoughts type of thing.
Okay.
Okay, done with whiskey. Gin makes me actually very focused. Like if I'm editing or something like that, and I sip on gin, like I'm very hyper focused into the situation.
Interesting.
Yeah, and tequila makes me vibrant, more fun.
Wow.
It brings up my spirits, and
You can actually tell the difference between the three.
yeah,
that's-
absolutely. I'm just trying to always be aware of
Huh.
myself, but yeah, so I think gin might be a nice one for you to try.
It's funny. My grandmother, she passed away in 2006, but she would take me out to dinner, me and my ex-wife sometimes, and she was a martini girl, and she would always let me sip on her martini, and I would just hate it. But she'd let me have the olive, and that was like all I could stand. It didn't sit with me, but I don't know. I've never really had gin. I've never had a bottle of gin and had a shot of gin.
Yeah,
Maybe that's a
well,
different thing.
gin and tonic,
Gin
is,
and tonic.
is the way to go.
Oh, okay.
For me.
See, I'm so used to doing straight whatever.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't know. I just gin and tonic. It's like the Sprite of liquors.
Oh.
Like it's really refreshing. It really is.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So
maybe I'll look into it.
yeah, maybe we'll go to the bar after this. Huh?
Okay.
I gotta be at work in the morning, man.
Yeah.
Some of us still do that.
Oh, Christ. Sorry, bastard.
Would you ever get back into work again?
God, no. It's funny because I thought about that. I had, when I quit my job in March 2017, I kind of had a feeling that I wouldn't go back to it, but there wasn't much confidence in that. I didn't know that I could do this. And then when the shutdown happened just last year, some people were asking me, like, would you actually go back to a regular job if you could? And I thought about it for a little bit, and I just said, no, I couldn't. I could never do that again. I don't know. I've made it so far doing what I'm doing for 4 years. I have what it takes to make it work, one way or another. I actually have the confidence in myself for that, which I guess is good. I don't think it's misplaced confidence. But yeah, to imagine myself in a cubicle again, and there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. I mean, you can work a great career and retire, but damn, that last job I had at Huntington from 2016 to 17, God, that sucked.
Yeah.
I had already been experiencing the life of a musician, running an open mic and playing events, and it just all that whole experience of growing into it was something I never expected. But once it happened, I realized it was exactly what I needed. And it
Yeah.
was who I was.
Did you feel like life outside of that was like more mundane? Like like you were just kind of. I have a picture in my head of you like being on the spotlight, doing your thing, and then going to work the next day like depressed, staring at your computer.
Well, I'll tell you, actually, so I had been with the job I got in May 2012, right before I started playing open mics, was with Chase. And I was with them for 3.5 years. It was starting out the best job I'd ever had. I was a web developer. I was going to be revamping one of their websites and spent months doing just a lot of great mock-ups and stuff like that. And the job evolved into whatever it was. And I got laid off at the end of 2015. It took me 6 months to find another job. It had never, it was my fifth layoff. So it had never taken me that long to find another job. And part of that was, by the time that happened, I was just about done. I mean, that many layoffs. And of course, my whole goal was, like, in my mind, I needed stability. So, like, I had grown up in the same house my whole life. And I wanted to have the same job for like 40 years and then retire. So when I got laid off for the fifth time in 2015, everything just broke apart as far as those expectations. So I spent 6 months basically looking for a job. And boy, I remember the first couple of interviews I had, because I hadn't had to interview for a while, and they were horrible. I remember walking into a place, I don't know who it was, what company. Within a minute of me talking, I knew I was dead. And I had to go the next 15 minutes just knowing.
What if you don't mind me asking, what made you think that? Like,
Oh, it
were
was
you
just
rambling or like what?
It was my interviewing skills. I hadn't had to use them for 3 or 4 years. So I just, based on the questions he was asking, I knew I didn't have it. I know I didn't have the answers. Even though I had the experience, I didn't know how to talk about it. So it just went on. And finally, summer of 2016, got on with a consulting firm and started working at Huntington at Easton. And I was a business analyst. I had been a business systems analyst at Chase, which it's a very vague term. It's a very, you can kind of put a whole bunch of things into that and say, like, well, I do this and this and this, and I'm a business systems analyst. But this was just a business analyst, and it was taking the tech out of it, which is what I loved. So all of a sudden, I was supposed to be doing just reports and planning and Word documents and all this stuff. The second day I was there, I knew it wasn't going to work. And for the next 8 months, I would sit in my cubicle and just die and just hate where I was. And of course, some of it was, especially on Thursdays, if I had been hosting my open mic till 1 a.m., I'd be going on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So that wasn't helping. But it was more just not having any passion anymore for my career, which I had loved to that point.
It seemed like you almost you probably purposefully justified, staying out until 1 in the morning. Like, yeah, I can do these open mics. Like you put that in as an important aspect. Like I'll suffer at work tomorrow.
You know what? That is it, because as you know, as an open mic host, man, when you have the good ones that last for a while, you see how many people you have an impact on. So yeah, I would go to O'Toole's on the west side, and it's a rougher part of town. It's whatever it is, but still, people would come out, and they were still nervous about playing, and I'd give them the encouragement. I mean, that's all it was about.
Yeah.
It was about, and then so yeah, that became my justification. Like, that was way more important than anything else. So God, I would just sit at this office, and the thing that made it worse was, this was the beginning of the trend of the open office experience, where they tore down the cubicles and
Oh.
put people in pods. So you're all facing each other.
Oh,
And
that's-
there's no more walls, which basically means there's no more quiet. There's no more way to separate yourself and actually get your fucking work done. And I had to experience that and just be completely exposed to everybody.
And how's that work out for being an introvert?
Well, for an introvert, it's horrible. It's also horrible for someone who's getting 3 hours of sleep at night and who is
Yeah.
just trying to not fall asleep. And I felt like I was failing at this job. Nobody else really thought that. And I'll tell you what, I had never, maybe one other time, but I had really never quit a job. And when I made that decision in March of 2017 and had to go in and tell my supervisor, manager, whatever, that I was quitting, I was so damn nervous. And he took it okay.
What is there to be nervous about?
I don't know. It just I had
Were
I
they
had
gonna
always
fire
well, that's the thing. I had had jobs where I knew they weren't working out, and I just waited until I got laid off.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I took charge and actually did that, and it was scary.
Yeah, it's a scary thing to go out on your own. And
Yeah.
I just kind of go back and relate to your like bad interview. I guess you said you had.
Mm-hmm.
I've had one really bad interview, and that was I was at Chipotle. You know, I was a assistant manager, and I was applying for the general manager position.
Oh.
You know, which I was already shoehorned into because they had already had me a store that I was going to go to and all this stuff. They're like, but we have a new area manager, and he wants to sit in with you with a whole panel of people and interrogate you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, me, I don't do well with people. Like, I suck at whatever that situation is. And I sat there, and I swear I've never done this before in my life. Like, any sort of moistness from my mouth just completely disappeared.
Oh God.
And like, I'm literally like, they're asking me questions and I'm talking and it sounds like I'm mixing mac and cheese in my mouth, just making that crazy noise. Like, I'm like, and I'm choking. Like, I'm like, can I get some water? You know, like it was so bad. And like, then they're asking me these like, "Sir, what would you do if, your sales were down by 10%? Like,
Oh Jesus.
and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, bring them up. I don't like. I'm just so bad with stuff like that. But that was like the
Bring
worst
'em up.
interview, And when I left Chipotle, that was a big moment for me. That was when I realized I no longer want to work for a corporation.
Ah.
And I haven't.
Yeah.
I've worked for small businesses or nonprofits since. And or myself. And that in itself was almost like when I made that decision, what you just said, when you going in, putting in your notice, a little nervous about it,
Yeah.
how am I going to get away from this corporate teat I've been sucking
Well, right.
on for my entire career?
Yeah.
And then like, no, I'm done with that because these guys are coming into my store. I was at a training store. And they're literally taking tape measures and measuring the cut sizes of the freaking peppers. Oh, this one's an eighth of an inch off, or like a 16th of an inch. I'm like, dude, this is a woman, not a machine. You want a machine? You want these to be this exact size every pepper? Buy us a machine that does that. This is a human being,
Yeah.
And so I got just that mentality of seeing these people come in and just bark at you because they're paid to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, So that left the corporate world, and that was like my first jab to the man. I'm going to go not work for the corporate,
Yeah.
and then music was a whole different thing. But yeah, that's that. I guess you're right. That is a little nervous. I mean, there's a whole nervous realm besides just going in and putting in your notice. There's a whole.
It is.
I'm actually doing this. I'm
Yeah.
doing this. After today, it's going to be just me.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was tough. Now, I should note my analytical ways. My last day was almost exactly 23 years after my first day at my first big boy job. So it was just kind of cool.
how do you know these things? This is ridiculous.
Because I started CompuServe March 7th, 1994. That's how I know. And it worked out great. So I had almost an exactly 23-year career in IT. It's just great.
It's a solid career.
Oh, yeah. But that's what made it more nervous, you know? I had been so enthusiastic about most of it and doing development and all kinds of stuff and just poured everything into it. But, man, the music really just shoved that aside.
Yeah, well, and you're also doing many other things as we've discussed here, but like you're doing
Well,
other things because just music, just this one thing can also become a repetitive.
oh, it can,
Nightmare.
totally. So, I mean, like in the beginning, even when I got gigs, I was getting gigs because people had me play breaks, for them.
Yeah.
So I was really big on that. And at first, I mean, I still didn't understand what I was doing and what venues needed. So I would have people come out and play breaks for me that had no business being there. So I was kind of stumbling around trying to figure that out. But even once I was kind of more independent and just doing my own thing, it did become kind of boring. And I hate to say that because it's just I appreciate everybody who's ever come to a show and clapped for me.
Yeah.
But man, you do this so many times, it just becomes repetitive. And there are so many people who were like us 10 years ago or whatever, and they think, man, I'd love to do that. Yeah, you'd love to do that, but Jesus, you got to manage that somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I kind of enjoyed having other people sing with me and just mixing it up. I had to.
Yeah, and Ron J was a huge break in my monotony.
Boy, yeah. Well, he's incredible.
Well, I guess I had you to thank for that because, I mean, I have
Well,
him to thank for
honestly,
that. But I met him in person at Papa Boo's when he was playing for you.
Right. That's right. And really, he came to the Dolphin Lounge when I was first starting to host open mics. It was like my third one. He came at the end of 2014, and it was his first open mic. So I got him introduced to it. And it's so funny. We laugh about that because he just didn't know what the hell he was doing. He had like, I don't know what the hell he had. He had like a single like RCA adapter or something like that. And he was trying to plug into our system and we made it work. But to see that, I mean, and where he is now, he has built that up.
Yeah, we have our own setups now.
Yeah. God.
He
yeah.
brings his own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's even trying to convince me to like let him take full control. Like I'm very particular about my board.
Yeah.
But his is digital.
Okay.
Like he's like, he can be out in the audience and control.
Oh,
with his
right.
pad.
That's a huge thing.
Right. And I'm so analog. I still wear headphones with the wires. But
I got you.
But
No, that's been good. I would encourage you to look at that stuff.
He let me play with it once, and I felt like I was 10,000 years in the future. Like I thought it was great, But yeah, he's really grown a lot. I like his setup, his sound. Like honing in, like, oh, I know what this problem is. Figuring it out. That's a fun evolution to watch.
Yeah.
Being open mic hosts, I'm sure that like even if you're not running an open mic, you actually see people's growth. What I would think from a fairly slightly different perspective. Just seeing people grow like in open mics and then seeing them grow.
Oh God!
Just as musicians after open mics, like it's.
And I would say, I mean, there are many people who I've seen grown, but I think Ron J is like the prime example of just coming out. He's done some stuff in the past, but that first night, hell, he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
And 7 years later, it's like, wow, he is in control of his destiny.
Yeah. And if Ron J, if you don't remember what date you started, Rick will.
That's right. It was whatever open mic it was in December, and I'll have a picture of you and a picture of the board. So yeah, whatever. I can let him know how many days it's been since he's been a professional musician. It's funny though. I actually just got Sirius XM. I've been debating on it for years. My car was ready for it, but I kept listening to satellite radio, and it sucks. It sucks so bad. So I finally got on it, and I've got these nice channels, and I'm listening to stuff, and there's an 80s channel or whatever it is. and Baker Street came on, and boy, we just nail that together, and it's just so great. I love doing that with him, and it's like you can do some songs without another person.
Yeah.
That is not one. I will never do Baker Street without Ron J.
Yeah, there's a couple songs I don't play without Ron J. You
Yeah.
know, ours is
Turn the Page.
no, I do that without Ron J.
Okay.
I think I have a pretty solid way, but when we do it together, you know, actually I play it higher than I normally do because I played my guitar's a half step down.
Oh, right.
So by bringing it up to standard, which he actually encouraged me because I told him like we didn't play Turn the Page for a long time because I was like I can't hit those notes. And he's like keep trying. And
Oh,
then,
nice.
then one day I just did it. And I'm like, oh my god, it hurt, but I did it.
He was probably just pissed off because I got him on the standard version, and he was like, "Well, don't screw me up. Don't make me do shoe versions. Come on, Stevie."
Well, we all know. Okay, if you play with Ron J, you know Ron J. He's very comfortable in his zone. You know, like you know, and he just So messing with his key changes, you know, he's not going to deal with that. I tried to bring him down to my level. He's like, man, that's not how you play that, Stevie. You know, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
but Creep, by Radiohead.
Oh yeah, I play that.
Yeah, that's one
That one gets me like in my highest range. It's a scary one.
Well, the thing is we opt out on that.
What do you mean?
I don't do that part. I don't do the high end. Yeah, I don't do it.
Really? Why
No,
not?
because what we do when that part comes, I back off and we go into almost like a 5 minute, a very intense sax solo.
No shit. 5 minutes.
Oh, it sometimes it goes 10. It's our main what I would consider our main showmanship act.
Jesus.
Because when it starts, I'll ask him, "Hey, Ronja, you want to go for a walk?" You know, like off the mic. And then he's like, "Okay." He knows what song I'm going to do, so he'll just casually leave the stage, as you know, and he'll go out in the audience, start talking to the audience members, and he doesn't come into like the second verse, and then he's out there doing his thing, you know, and then when we get to that part, he just goes off the chain. He's on his knees doing his whole thing, and then the thing is, then when he's done with that, you know, the audience goes crazy, and he comes back on stage, and I do that other part again. We kind of fade the song out, and then we come back and do it all over again. So sometimes this song goes 10 minutes.
Damn.
Like it's a pretty cool one, and I'll never play that. Number one, because I need, like, it's one of those songs that it's just a Ron J song.
Yeah.
Number two, I actually can't hit those notes. That's why we
Oh, well,
designed it the
okay.
way that we do. But yeah, I know what you mean. There's certain songs that you have to have Ron J there.
Yeah.
You know, but
He has done so well and taken it so seriously. And
Yeah.
I'm always proud of him.
I'm proud of the fact that he stands by himself. Like he's not your average saxophone player. There's I don't know. There's a gleam with him. There's something
is.
like I never try to. Oh, well, make it sound more like the song, Ron J. Like I never will do that. Just
not at all.
And so it feels like we never played any of our songs the same way twice. You know, we just kind of just go off each other and there's certain times we'll go into a much longer solo than normal. It's stage banter.
That's funny.
You know, that's somebody that like I've never had stage banter before.
Yeah.
You know, where I can do that. I've had other musicians, it's always been like, well, we stick to the script and that's what we do.
Right.
You know, and once I stopped doing that and found Ron J, I'm like, no, man, this is fun. This is what I like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it with him.
Well, Ranjay, I hope you're tuning in. Give him a once you post this, give him a timestamp.
Oh, I usually do when I mention people.
Yeah,
I'll give
really.
them timestamp.
Don't make him listen to the 2 hours before of all our drivel.
Well, Ron J is pretty good at listening to my podcasts anyway. He'll be like, oh, he always calls me Mr. Cade. Mr. Cade, I listened to the one you did with Reese Jordan. You know, like he's a vivid listener. So
Yeah.
but I had a point to all this, and now I
Well,
lost it. It's fine.
oh, shit.
No big deal. So yeah, Ron J's cool.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, pretty neat guy. I think I was wanting to go down. Oh yeah, Ron J helped break up that monotony. of like doing
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again. But even with that, and I believe we talked about this the last time we were together, but like I was getting burnt out
Yeah.
on performing all the time, like as a full-time musician, because I wasn't intuitive enough to go the Rick Barr route and like put other adventures besides Film
Oh,
Trigger.
jeez.
I had
Well,
Film Trigger going, but it was also almost I wasn't really working with other people. It was almost an unhealthy echo chamber I put myself into.
okay. Yeah.
And when COVID hit and I got this job that I have now that's something I've never done before. I seem to have I'm a pretty quick read with a lot of the things I do. The boss is very happy with me, and I'm learning a lot. But when that job started taking off and like I kind of took a break from music for a little bit, and said I'm gonna chill out on shows.
Yeah.
We'll see if I'm back. Maybe I will be. Maybe I won't. And I have been this year, but the point is that job gave me a balance that I needed. I didn't know I needed.
Yeah.
And now I'm working. Like I'm starting to see the value in the other things that I want to do, but also I am grounded to not put myself back in that echo chamber, that Stevie Cade echo chamber, like there's other things I can still do the things that I want, but I don't know, there's a perspective that happened when I got this job that
Well,
really,
yeah.
I think mental health wise, it just helped me out a lot.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely.
Okay.
Look, you're doing something new that breaks the monotony, like you said.
Yeah.
This may not be something you're doing next year or
Yeah.
in the next 2 years,
Right.
but it's something that gives you more perspective, and it's gonna help you understand that you're capable of anything. That's the thing. You're capable of much more than what you're doing right now,
Yeah.
and that's so important.
Well, and much like obviously as I've said before, I admire you a lot, and all these different avenues that you're doing, and it seems that you have created your own way to break up your monotony. You're doing these different things under the umbrella of Bar 26 Entertainment,
Yeah.
and like now that's something that I'm, like I think in the back of my head, I've had like some sort of concept of this,
Yeah.
but like, when I see somebody like you doing it, I'm like, oh, that kind of hones in a little bit better. And then having this job's like, okay, so it is important for me to balance out these things better than I was before. Before I was just a madman in the Wild West, playing music whenever I wanted, doing videos whenever I wanted.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like what we aspire to be. Like with the music, we have to work so damn hard to get a gig at a new place.
Yeah.
So we are just, oh, man, we're spending so much time doing that and getting rejected more than we're getting accepted. So, yeah, when we get to a point where even when we're playing like 3 or 4 times a week and hosting an open mic, it gets in our blood where we can't stop. We have to keep driving and driving. And boy, that gets old. It just becomes too much work.
Yeah.
It drives out the fun.
Yeah. And then there's that pendulum effect, that I seem to put myself into a lot where, the pendulum goes way far this way. And then I'm like, well, we're out over here. So fuck music. I'm going to go over here and work at a job.
Yeah.
So now it's swinging this way, but eventually that pendulum will settle.
Yeah.
It will come. It will
Yeah.
settle down in the middle to a fine balance, and I'm starting to pick up more quickly than I have in the past.
Yeah.
How to hone in that balance a little bit more.
It is really tough because all these disciplines that we have, our aptitudes, are not the same, and they don't require the same amount of attention.
Yeah.
So it is really a challenge. One thing I've actually started to do, I had this little whiteboard that I would bring to the Dolphin Lounge for the open mic. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't need that. We got a sign-up sheet, whatever. So I ended up just pasting that on my wall. And what's really helped me is to write down each day the top 3 things that I need to do, like things that I have to do that day to get done. I may have a couple, like maybe half a dozen other things under that are optional. But if I have my goal as getting those things done, it drives me and it helps me focus. Because otherwise, I mean, like you said, I've got music, voiceovers, art, publications. I'm all over the place. And sometimes it's just overwhelming as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to like stop ourselves and just be able to focus on one task.
Oh, yeah. The cats have now realized you're not going to murder them, so they might start creeping in the studio.
Well, you know, it's funny because I had actually.
Don't pee on her.
I'm not going to pee on her. I don't have to pee.
Don't pee on my cat. Don't go.
Jesus.
Don't go R. Kelly on my cat.
Where'd you get that? No, no. I had actually been insistent on having a black cat. Like my first cat, Michelob, was a black cat, but you know, my new Mick is black and white. You know, a tuxedo kitty, whatever, and it's just working out great. But yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, and to give anybody some reference here, the reason why I brought up the R. Kelly thing is because Rick actually peed on his cat or got close to it.
Oh no! What? Well, yeah, yeah. I peed on his head because he got in the way of the freaking toilet. I mean, what? This was like a month ago. This was. Yeah, he just brought his head right in there, and I peed on it. I mean, I was already in midstream. He didn't. Jesus, what a little asshole! I swear to God.
I'm sure he's thinking the same thing.
Oh, I know. But the thing is, he hasn't. Well, he's been a little more cautious, but he still gets right up there, and he's like looking up and down. and thinking, well, do what you want to do, buddy. I mean,
oh man,
you know, I was advised early on to close the toilet seat. And I thought, oh, yeah, that might be a good idea, whatever. Just today, I had been in the bathroom, flushed, whatever, didn't want to close the toilet seat. Within 2 minutes, he's in there drinking the water. And I'm just thinking, you dirty son of a...
I've never... Do you do that?
Oh,
okay,
I mean...
Now you got me thinking, because this little shit... He will go into that bathroom, and I've never figured out why. Like, the door will be cracked open, and then he's just in there. You hear the door, you hear the door, like, creak open, and he goes in. I'm like, what is he doing in there?
Well, he's drinking your piss.
What?
I mean, I know you flushed, but still, it's really horridly disgusting. So I'm starting to be better about closing the seat or whatever.
I think I'm back to not liking cats again.
Oh, well, that was quick.
All right, you're out. Thanks, Rick.
I'll take him. What a little sweetie. What a little pee-drinking little sweetie cat.
Oh, geez. This conversation can go really south right now.
Yeah. Well, you're in control.
I am.
Get it? You're in control?
Oh.
Oh!
Bazing.
Man. And they say I'm not good at jokes.
Who says that?
Me.
Oh,
I really
you're not
am.
wrong.
No.
Oh, man, Rick. So any other new adventures on the way that we haven't talked on? Or you got like a catalog or a calendar or some random something?
No, honestly, the publishing thing, Bar 26 Publishing, is going to be a big thing. We just have to kind of center ourselves. We're going to be self-publishing our puzzle books. It's going to be a whole series, but we're also going to be working with authors on getting their work out there. And we have some pretty interesting things coming out. It's enough, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people don't realize how much time we as musicians spend, the ones who know how to do it, promoting. You know, we have to send the invites out on Facebook and creating the events and just, it takes so much time. And then with my voiceovers, if I'm working on books, it just, God, it's keeping me busy, which is a good thing, especially right now.
Especially when you're self-employed.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not complaining, but no, I mean, that's about it. Those four facets, the music, voiceovers, art, and publishing.
Do you think that you'll just probably keep it there for a while?
Well, the publishing has just come up the last few months.
Right.
So, I mean, and we're still developing this, Michelle and I.
And what if that turns into its own thing?
Well, it will. It certainly will.
Well, I meant like, what if it just explodes and like all of a sudden you have to, not pay? How are you going to manage your time?
Honestly, I mean, I've been saying this for a few years because I started to get burnt out on the music. Is that I would love for the voiceover or something to genuinely take its place where I know I can count on the income and just gig less. I want to host
Yeah.
the open mic, obviously. That's every Monday. And I want to play my favorite venues. But I don't want to do 15 shows a month.
Right.
That's a lot.
See,
It's killing my body.
yeah.
It's just, and it makes me, when I do a whole weekend of shows, I can't wake up the next morning and do voiceover. I can't. I'm done. My voice, I guess it would depend on the type of book I'm working on. But if there's any female characters involved, no, they're going to sound like they have colds. I mean, there's just no way around it. I've tried. So, yeah, ultimately, I would like to rely less on the music. And that really came as a realization when the shutdown happened. It's like, wow, they shut down our careers.
Yeah.
I mean, and we had nothing to do with it. We had no say in anything. So from mid-March to the end of May, we were not allowed to work. So that kind of told me, well, I need to shift gears.
It's amazing. Yeah, you and I just pretty much came out of that with the same type of mindset.
Yeah.
Except well, maybe not the same exact type of mindset. I went and got a job somewhere, but it inspired you to start looking into other avenues as your
Well,
primary
yeah.
source of income.
Yeah.
That's
Which was ironic because I'd only been doing it full time for a few years. So to have to kind of shift gears and to say, well, I've been working my ass off to get to this point where I'm working like, playing 15 to 18 gigs a year or a month. And to suddenly say, well, no, I don't want to do that anymore. It's like, Jesus, it's always evolving.
yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like I made that same decision myself. Like when I kind of left music for a little bit, not hardcore. I didn't burn it to the ground, and I stayed to my obligations that I already had, but I wasn't booking anymore.
Right.
And a lot of that also had to do with, like I was trying out a relationship, and I wanted to nurture that, and make time for that as well. But now that like I'm coming back into it, I have that same exact mindset. Like I want to play at the places that I have fun at.
Yeah.
I want to do the good ones. And I want to do the open mic thing, which I am running an open mic, but it's a baby step into something bigger that I want to also accomplish with the open mic world, which as I told you off record, a little bit about that, but
Yep.
it's again just another evolution of learning how to balance these things, and figuring out what's important to you, and what do you value, what are you going to be disciplined for, and is it worth that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
And that's we're growing, Rick.
Oh man. I know, we're getting older all the time.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to chat about, or?
I think that covered everything.
I think I.
Professionally. Personally, we have some growth to work on.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I sure don't.
Well, I was wrong about that. All right. Awkwardly, we close this session.
All right. Well, Rick's gonna tell me what I got to work on in my head. No, you're right. We self growth is something that always, like, when you think you've made it, you failed at self growth. When you think you've made it to where you're I'm comfortable. This is exactly who I am.
Yeah.
That's self growth is something that will continue to the day you die.
Oh.
That's something that. Do you not feel that way, or?
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you reach that point, and I've reached that, I reached that with music. It's like, Jesus, it's like I don't have to try as hard. So, but I feel like trying at something.
So how do I mix this up?
Yeah, it's crazy. We should be able to be content. I mean, we could easily play all the cover songs we want for the next 20, 30 years and be relatively okay. But we're not like that.
Well, to a degree. I will agree and also debate you on that. Well, not debate, but give my perspective. Is there's a musician. I'm not going to name drop him here. Very popular, very successful guy. Does what we do, and he's played the same songs for 30 years, and there's something intriguing about that to me. Like, I wouldn't mind having my set, maybe just adding a few songs every now and again, and that's what I've been doing. My set list works, and it's all over the place, so I'm good with that. So my way to evolve with my music and to grow with my music is actually, I've noticed it. I didn't do it intentionally, but I've noticed it going this route where I invite up and coming musicians to perform the breaks at my shows or split a set with me. People that I've invested time in seeing, or I've seen come to my open mics. I see potential in, and it's kind of evolving in that way where yeah, we got the show, but check out these guys too. Even the last show that I did at the Elks Lodge in New Lex.
Oh yeah.
I brought the band Rumors
right
on here. They've been recently over at Stads.
Yeah, Bonnie came to Stads Monday.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Joe's out of town, but these two are great. And now the Elks, this is where I get a lot of private gigs from them. Just their younger crowd just loves us. Or they've only seen me. And Ron J hasn't been out there yet, but they've hired me 3 or 4 private gigs. Even that one that I got the $100 to only play 15 minutes. Yeah. But they turned around, they looked at me, and they go, "Oh, Stevie, I think you got some competition." That right there, that was a good feeling.
Yeah.
That was like, this is why. Okay, now that I have where I'm at, and I'm I kind of got disjointed of where I was at. Okay, maybe I'd look at this a little differently and just start inviting people out, not waiting for people to say, "Hey, can I play your break?" But actively seek people. Hey, I see you. I think you're really talented. I think you should come out to this big show, and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the growth I'm headed now with that.
Well, good.
And so that's. So I didn't mean to. I know we almost closed this podcast out, and I just kind of went back on the other rant.
No,
yeah.
I haven't done that in a while, but I kind of miss helping people like that.
Well, and the camaraderie, the atmosphere that brings, you're helping them, and they're also helping you.
Yeah. Sure.
You get to be an audience member at your own show.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's a really cool feeling.
It helps to not have any downtime at your show, but also it's. Right. You have to be unselfish about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I've met so many musicians who are good friends, but they just have a hard time letting go and letting someone else be in the spotlight. And it's you don't have to worry about it. It's your show.
Yeah.
You get someone talented in there. Yeah, they're going to sound different. They're going to sound good, but it's just adding to your experience. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I'm not, that person. I don't live that person's life or anything. So I can't quite say why somebody's, scared to share the space or, share the slice of pie. But I'm one of those people, if I have a big old piece of pie, man, here's a slice, take a slice.
All right.
I don't mind. I enjoy the company. Thanks for sitting with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the beauty of what we can do now, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So. Yep. You want to end on that? I think it's a nice positive thing, better than...
That was so sweet.
Yeah.
And endearing. Oh, God.
See, now you ruined it.
It's a heartwarming episode of Stevie Cade.
And Rick Barr.
Okay, bye.
Rick, yeah, see ya.